Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Silent Hill podcast. Thought I would mix another one of these in here as it's been a while since I've done my last one in this series. In fact, looking at my last video, it looks like it's been almost 2 years since the last go around. So as a nice treat to everyone, I thought I would do another one here, continue the focus in this case on Silent Hill 4, The Room Enemies, and then also as a nice way to reintroduce this series to everyone out there, especially all of you new subscribers. This is a series where I focus and I analyze on a lot of the Silent Hill lore, particularly the monsters featured within the games. And the last time I had a video here, I was knee-deep within the Silent Hill 4 video game. So thought I would do this one here again as a nice treat. Some of you have asked for this series to come back. Mainly, I let it go because YouTube was kind of strict on their policies when it came to ads for any of my videos on this series. So I'm going to give it another chance, see how things go, and then continue from there. And in this case, the next monster up, because last time I talked about it was the Gumhead, and that was the last monster encountered in my walkthrough that I was watching on YouTube. In this case, the next monster encountered is one that is found within the hospital world. Very, very creepy looking monster. One that definitely stands out. And it's known as, in this case, the Patient. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the fascinating info and, in this case, symbolism, because it is very heavy in the symbolism side associated with this creature. So what was this Patient? Well, again, it's a creature that's found within the hospital world, specifically when you start encountering those levels with those eerie looking wheelchairs, the one that just basically attack you on their own. That alone in itself is unsettling. There's something about wheelchairs that instantly cause an uneasiness, but then when you have these things attacking you, that's another thing. So after those wheelchairs come about, then you run into this creature. So basically, it's a humanoid creature, actually taller than Henry Townshend himself, and it looks like, I know it's described as a feminine monster, but it looks more to me, and you'll see the picture here, like as if you took two halves, in this case one half a man, the other half a woman, and then you came across this. At least that's what it seems like to me. Someone else, if you see more of a feminine monster, let me know, because definitely half of it looks like a feminine monster, but the other half looks far more masculine. But in any case, these creatures, they're taller than Henry. They have some really disgusting features on them. It follows the theme involving any Silent Hill creature, where it looks like it's something that's just heavily decaying, something that's found dead, lots of skin on it that looks like it's just completely disheveled, rotten, falling off, lots of blood stains associated with it too. Whatever else it looks like, it has this grayish skin with a lot of chunks missing on it. In fact, if you were to look into closer detail, it'll look like there's some gaping wounds on it as well, almost as if body parts were taken out from this creature. And then continuing with its uneasiness, it's wearing a scantily clad outfit made out of a hospital gown. So everyone hates going to the hospital. I haven't met anyone that likes it yet. But whenever you're in the hospital and you have to wear those gowns, that just already adds up to the creepiness factor. Well, this creature wears it. And of course, it's completely bloody too. And then if you wanted to top things off, it has the standard twitchiness associated with many Silent Hill creatures. So when it comes at you, you already see it doing that. But if you wanted to also know it's coming at you as well, it does this growling type noise. And I remember hearing it there on the YouTube walkthrough video. And then when you hit it, it also makes this grunting sound, which weirdly enough sounds like it's almost burping. And this is supposed to symbolize like the decomposition, the way the body makes noises whenever it's going through that phase. But in essence, that's all the characteristics associated with this creature, at least on a physical aspect. Very creepy looking, definitely one of the most unsettling ones out there. Now, as far as its symbolism, again, it is very, very heavy on this part. This is a creature that's supposed to represent multiple things, at least based on several theories. The most common one is that it's supposed to represent Walter Sullivan's hatred of women, his misogyny towards women. There are multiple instances in the game that allude to this, like a lot of puppets that are found with pins specifically tied to them, like women, puppets, in other words, with pins almost like as a form of torture. There are other moments too where you can see that, where you see symbolism, drawings, you'll see statues alluding to this, even the ending when it comes to Eileen, and then the way that she's almost eviscerated alive within that death machine. That is supposed to be yet another feature of his hatred towards women, and such is this creature here. This creature, when it's found in the hospital world, just like all other Silent Hill monsters, they're a manifestation of someone's own imagination. And in this case, Walter Sullivan's hatred of women created these creatures. So that's what essentially it is. It's him taking his whole fantasy world and then using it to create this woman, and the way this monster, the way it looks like, the torture that it has, it's just his continued hatred of it. I've tied this to the fact too that when he was abandoned by his mother, also a woman in this case, his biological mother, that continues his hatred of women. And then also the fact that it looks like at the middle of the stomach, it looks like it's almost like the womb was torn out, again tying into the fact that he hates women because he in turn was rejected by his own mother at the very beginning of his life. So this creature, this thing, whatever it was, if it was, let's say, a civilian that was trapped in the world of Silent Hill and then reborn as this monster, it's not truly something that is good. This is probably one of the worst ways to go when it comes to the world of Silent Hill monsters. At least that's the notion. If you believe the idea that all these monsters found throughout all the games, they are reborn civilians, those that are trapped within Alessa's world, and when that happens, they then become these monsters themselves. This is not a good way to go when it comes to being born as this creature. As far as dealing with this patient, it's pretty easy to do so. Imposing as this creature is, it's relatively easy to just take it out. All you have to do is just take any kind of melee weapon and then just start hitting the button, as far as swinging Henry's arms as much as possible. And the guy that I was watching play this game, he did so very easily. Like, it was just a couple of strikes and then stepping on this patient, and then that's it. It was down and it was out, and it was easy to do so. And the only time you run into some kind of problems is if you're dealing with multiple patients, which can be found, I saw in some of the levels. Then you have to start working on a more tactical level, but otherwise you don't have to use any kind of guns. It's just pretty much just using a large axe or some other kind of weapon, like the club or whatever that metal pipe is, and then that way you'll be able to just take it out at your leisure. It doesn't put up much fight afterwards or during the actual confrontation itself. By the way, one other thing to mention on its symbolism, the term patient could actually tie in as well to Walter in terms of this. If Walter is the doctor, if he's the one that's creating this entire world, then he sees these poor creatures as his patients. So maybe that's why, in other words, it's also called the patient, and why it ties into looking so much like a hospital patient too. And then the very last thing to mention, a bit of trivia associated with this creature. If you've noticed this, and I noticed it right off the bat, if you've played, seen, or just done anything with Silent Hill 3, there's a very memorable person there named Claudia Wolf. Well, when this cutscene plays, where Walter looks like I don't know if he's doing some kind of operation or if he's just messing around essentially with the corpse of one of these patients, but the face of it automatically looks like Claudia Wolf. And so that ties into more symbolism. There's the idea that this creature may actually be a manifestation of poor Claudia. Remember, I was mentioning earlier, just a minute ago, about poor civilians that are caught in the Silent Hill world turning into these creatures. What if it was Claudia herself? What if this was her endless torture being afterward? Whatever happened with Silent Hill 3 and the aftermath, if you remember the ending of it, she mysteriously disappeared. Then what if it turns out that she in turn is this patient just forever in this form of torture? That's not a good way to go. So there's that idea. The other idea is that he met Claudia somewhere during the time period of Silent Hill 3, or even before then, when he was a much younger boy, and she left quite an impression on him, and so that's why he decided to make her look like this creature. And then there's the other notion is this, as simple as this. A lot of times when it comes to creating these models in the game, it's much easier to just simply reuse a texture. So that might have been as simple as that. One of the game creators, the coders, whoever it was, just decided to use the face of Claudia since it was already existing in another file, and then it just made life easier afterward. I'm actually thinking that it's more along that lines, because in the world of gaming production, any shortcuts definitely lead to a much happier ending. So, but that's pretty much it. Everything as far as any info associated with the patient. What do you guys think? Is this creature that definitely stands out? This half man, at least I think so, half man, half woman creature. It's actually found in other parts of the game too, but primarily within that hospital world. But if anyone knows any other symbolism that I might have missed, anything else that stands out, then please post those comments below. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.